Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Year of the Batman. Today's BTAS episode is Sideshow. So, this is a Killer Cropic episode. So it starts off. They're doing a prisoner transfer of Killer Croc. He's getting his own specialty cell because, it's Killer Croc. He's incredibly strong and dangerous. So yeah, obviously. Um, it's also kind of confusing because as dangerous as he has like one guard in the train car that he's at because it's on a train, and there's a bunch of reporters in not even like the next car over. It's weird. It's like the locomotive and then like five or six cars to it, and I'm just like, why are there people there? I mean, it's Killer fucking Croc. I mean, of all Batman villains, he's up there for villains you don't want to be near civilians. I mean, very few rank above him. I mean, obviously there's like the Joker and I guess Bane. Um, but I mean, Killer Croc, come on, that's a recipe for disaster. That guy's nightmare fuel. Um, so he's chained up, and he was telling the guy, he's like, "Hey, you guys kind of fucked up because I can do this." And he just like lifts his chain and then bites it, like it's nothing. I'm just like, why would you guys even give him the ability to bite something? Because I know that crocodiles, alligators, stuff like that have an incredible bite force. And if you have a guy that's like half crocodile, I would kind of assume that would also have an insanely high bite force. So I don't know why they didn't like bind his hands behind his back or, put him in a straitjacket. It just it boggles the mind. Like these Gotham City people, they get too cocky with their criminals and or just lazy. Who knows? So anyway, Croc easily escapes, and thankfully, one of the reporters was Batman undercover, so he chases Croc, and during the chase, he gets a sedative knocked into him by one of the guards. So him and Batman are fighting on top of the train, and they they get knocked off, and Batman slams into the ground. So does Croc, and Batman's knocked out on the ground, and Croc he's like still heavily sedated, so grabs like a big boulder to like crush his head, but he sees Batman spinning, and there's like three of them because he's all loopy and whatnot. So he like hits the rock to the ground, and he's like 2 inches from killing Batman, and he's just like, okay, I gotta get out of here. So he's running, and it's very slow but sure because he's drugged, and Batman wakes up and he's like on his ass because I mean, world's greatest detective. He's following footprints and little strands of cloth torn in the bushes. I mean, Batman's on his ass. So it gets to a canyon, and then I swear you really got to watch out for Killer Croc because this sedated motherfucker pushed down a like I want to say 50-foot tree, like it was nothing. So he pushes that tree down to make a bridge, and he crosses it, and he's like climbing up the cliff, and he notices Batman's on his trail, and he's crossing the tree bridge as well. So then he like pushes over a boulder the size of a car to create like an avalanche to fall on Batman and the tree and whatnot. So Batman falls, and he's falling down the cliff, and he uses his grappling hook to save himself, but he's like much lower on the cliff now, so he has to climb the cliff to catch up to Killer Croc, which now he has a huge head start. So Croc's running and running. Keep in mind he's still drugged, and he comes across a river and he slips, and he falls into the water, only to then be rescued by a boy that is the best I could describe as like half man, half seal. I mean, I don't know. They don't explain this at all. This guy, he just has flippers on his hands and feet. So I don't know if his dad fucked a seal or what. Um, and he brings him to like the shore, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. So it's just nothing but forest all around. And you find out it's this traveling circus, and you have a hunchback character who's really into Shakespeare. Some conjoined twins. They're connected like by the shoulder. So imagine just two girls, and they just share one shoulder. Um, so yeah, there's that, and then just a big giant, like a big hefty guy and a little dim. So all, you know, within reason do exist in the world, but then you have Seal Boy, and I'm just like, you are an abomination to God. I don't know what the fuck you are, dude. Um, so they welcome Killer Croc with open arms because they're a freak, or Killer Croc's a freak like them. So Killer Croc makes up the story that like he was part of a traveling circus act and he was chained up, hence the chains on his hands, and he finally escaped their clutches. So they welcome him to the community, and Killer Croc finds out through them that they have a little bit of a nest egg because they were this traveling circus group and they saved up their money to buy some land to get away from it all and just live their lives out in the woods by their own. And he finds out they got like a nest egg about $50,000. Not anything to like sneeze at, but for Gotham City, that is like, I don't know, small beans. So later that night, he's looking for the money, which he eventually finds, and the Seal Boy he confronts him. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he puts the money back. And I really think if Batman just kind of quit, he would have like turned a new leaf and like been good just from then on out. Because I mean, Killer Croc easily could have just stepped on the kid and taken the money and left. But he didn't. So Batman eventually tracks him. He finds like the big Goliath guy, and he's asking him about Croc, and the Goliath guy is like, "Oh crap, that's my friend. Got to protect him." So he attacks Batman, and Batman's getting the upper hand when Croc steps in, and the two of them overpower Batman, and they throw him in a cage. And he's like, "Hey, this was one of the guys that like um, trapped me, so we got to kill him." And everybody's like, no, we don't have to kill him. Let's not go that far." And he's like, "Fuck you, we're going that far." So he attempts to like uh, kill Batman with like a pitchfork, and it's just so funny because they put him in like this big cage, like you'd see a traveling circus like hold like a lion or something. So it's just like Batman could just like step like a few feet over here, a few feet over there, and I'm just like, "Croc, what are you doing?" Because like Batman can avoid the pitchfork pretty easily. So they stop him, and then Killer Croc, when he has Batman's utility belt because he obviously took it before they put him in the cage. So he takes the utility belt and throws some smoke on the ground and some knockout gas. So he knocks everybody out, and he puts all of them in a cage and a separate one for Batman. And so now he's about to execute Batman. He goes back into the house to get a gun, but Batman, he takes like a wooden block that was under the wheel of one and like lets it go down the hill so then it could crash and break open and he could go after Croc. Um, so he does that, and from here on, it's a pretty big action scene at this point. There's Batman wrestling with Croc with the giant because the giant also breaks out. Um, there's him like getting the high ground with like a sniper rifle, and then Batman having to like follow the Seal Boy through the house, through like a secret underwater entrance. There's fighting in the house. There's fighting in the water. There's fighting on a um, the it escapes me, a water wheel. Yeah, he's fighting on a water wheel. Like a good amount of action in this episode, I will say. All good stuff. I do find it funny though when it is happening in the water. Batman's like, "I gotta get the fuck out of here. We are on his home turf, and I can't do this." So I do find that to be a little funny. Like as soon as he's in the water, he's like, we're not doing this. I've fallen for this before. No." Um, but eventually, Killer Croc does get knocked out, and the police show up, and they finally actually restrain him properly. Like they put this big metal helmet around him so he can't bite anything. They restrain his arms so he's like crossed like this, and they helicopter him in. So it's like, yeah, you can escape, but you're not going anywhere. Either that or you're falling to your death. So have fun with that. Which I'm just like, Do that in the first place. Why were we thinking putting him on a train with other people was a good idea? But anyway, that was Sideshow. A pretty tragic tale, I will say. I really do think if Batman hadn't have shown up, Croc wouldn't have like flipped his lid on him. Um, for the fact alone that like he did put the money back and he was starting to like be a good person in his own way. I really think just when Batman showed up, his flight or flight response just kicked in and it went into overdrive. Um, so yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking. It would have been nice to just see Croc reform, but whatever. It still phenomenal episode. I'm trying to think of anything like I wouldn't take from or like deduct it from. I don't think it's 7 out of 7 worthy, but it's still really really good. So I think once again I'll give it a 6 out of 7. Still phenomenal episode, really really good stuff, and he almost did hit him with a rock. So that's a funny little callback. But yeah, that's it. Bye bye.